Jacob on YouTube came to me with this question. Why don't you just give step-by-step instructions like a booklet you get with your refrigerator? And I think this is an excellent question. Now, I know a lot of programs do this. They give very specific sequences to solve problems. I mean, I've done it. YouTube really likes listicles and sequences. 273 simple steps to the perfect corner. Rote sequences, right? Rote, meaning mechanical or habitual repetition of something to be learned. But I wonder, are step-by-step rote sequences one of the fundamental problems with motorcycle education? Is there any reason that you can think of why a quick start guide for how to ride a motorcycle may not be in the rider's best interest? Hi, my name is Dave, and I've been a professional motorcycle coach for 25 years. I taught state basic rider schools for over a decade. I'm currently a certified champions coach with Yamaha Champ School. I'm certified with the USMCA. I work with our local race organization, teaching advanced rider training programs at our local racetrack, among other things. Breaking things down into a repeatable mechanical process to make learning easier. Why might I not be a fan? I mean, they do have their place. But I propose that place is a pretty narrow window. You see, well, on one hand, riding a motorcycle is pretty basic. It's only 4 things, right? Start, stop, turn, and shift. But mastering these 4 things can take most of us normals a lifetime. So listen, there are 2 kinds of riders in the world. There are how riders and why riders. How riders just want to know how to do a thing, and off they go doing that thing forever and always. But to become a great rider, we need to become why riders. Why am I doing the thing? And that's one thing I'm always trying to give you, the why. Understanding why we do a thing is far more important than a step-by-step how-to. So let's get into this. In the book, Motorcycle Dynamics by Vittorio Casalter, he explains that most things move in relationship to the world and in relationship to itself in 6 different directions. An airplane has 6 degrees of freedom. But according to Casalter, a motorcycle has 11. An airplane can move 6 different ways. A motorcycle can move 11. Now, if you're interested in exploring this idea in more detail, let me know in the comments. But the long and the short of it is, riding a motorcycle well is as or even more complex than flying an airplane. I mean, that's cool, right? Seriously, let's take a second to celebrate our badassery. You are a total badass. Own it. Iceman ain't got nothing on you. So the point is, even seemingly simple things like a motorcycle can involve very complex physics, and that's why we end up in this pickle. You see, the correct answer to almost every motorcycle question begins with, it depends. For every rule, there's a scenario where following that rule will get you into trouble and may even cause a crash. Fundamentally, this is why quick start guides become problematic as soon as we leave the parking lot riding range in our mirrors. Everything on a motorcycle comes down to nuance and context. It's impossible to have a step-by-step quick start guide that accommodates nuance and context. So the best way I know to help us stop thinking in terms of sequences, rote, step-by-step mechanical memorized processes done in order at certain points in time, is to instead think about where we are and where we want to be. Now, let me explain. Look, you may not think that racing applies to us as street riders on your Harley or your Triumph Speed 4 or whatever. But nothing is further from the truth. Racing is our scientific evidence. It's the closest thing we have to a laboratory. It's measurable and repeatable. If something works at 10/10ths pace where being the fastest and not crashing is all that matters, then there's a good chance it's going to work at our much slower, calmer, and sedentary pace, right? So here are the lap times from one of the greatest racers in the world right now. This is from the Austrian Grand Prix this past summer. Did Pecco Bagnaia run a consistent lap record pace over the entire race distance because he followed a precise sequence, doing everything the exact same every lap? No, he did not. So a MotoGP bike uses 22 liters of fuel throughout the race. That means the bike loses 44 pounds or about 20 kilos during the race. The Michelin tires go from incredibly grippy to complete trash. The brakes wear and get so hot that the fluid boils. The rider is changing traction control maps and engine braking maps and torque maps throughout the race to manage tire wear and fuel consumption and changes in vehicle weight. And the track changes throughout the way. And let's not forget about all the other riders who are trying to go faster than our hero. So what is Pecco doing to be so consistent? Pecco is hyper consistent because he's riding the bike based on direction, not where it is on the racetrack. He never brakes at the same spot. He never turns in at the same spot. His entrance speed is always changing. He never gets on the gas at the same spot or in the same way because the tire is always getting less grippy. Each lap is different based on 1,000 variables that are constantly changing. Being an adaptable and adjustable rider is what allows Pecco to get the most out of the bike every lap and turn super consistent times. So let's talk about how we can apply this to our riding for amazing results at our much slower, much saner real-world street speeds, but also in a world where we arguably have even more variables we have to account for. We make decisions not based on physical points in the road or where we are in a sequence, but based on where we are and where we want the bike to be. So let's talk about where most motorcycle riders are crashing. Corners, or as our UK friends say, bends. So speed equals radius. For a given lean angle, the radius of a corner is determined by our speed. The front brake makes the motorcycle slow down and turn. Neutral throttle, the radius of our corner stays the same. Acceleration, the bike stops turning and starts to run wide. So try this exercise. Find a big open parking lot and start riding around in a big giant circle. Keep your lean angle the same. Now be honest with the exercise here. Don't try to cheat it to prove something. So big giant circle. Now gently accelerate and pay attention to what the motorcycle does. Get back into your circle, same speed, same lean angle. Now gently roll off the throttle, keeping the same lean angle. What does the bike do? Now again, same speed, same lean angle, roll off the throttle and put some light pressure on your rear brake, not your front brake. What does the bike do? Now again, same thing. Keep the lean angle the same, only this time roll off the throttle and sneak the front brake on. What does the bike do? How we manage our speed is critical to what the motorcycle physically does. So now back on the road in a corner. What is the most important part of a corner? What is our number one priority for every corner? It's exit. The exit is the only thing that matters. It's not the entrance, it's not getting off the brakes at a certain point, none of that. Getting to the exit of the corner is all that matters. Think about where you are and where you want to be. You're entering a corner, so you roll off the throttle to the front brake and you apply a little bit of counter steer to help the bike tip into the corner. Where or when do we do this? It depends. How fast are you going? How tight is the corner? What's the road surface? What's your visibility like? Roll off the throttle to the front brake. When you're nervous. How much do you slow down? You slow down until you're happy with your speed and direction. But the corner is tightening. What tools do we have available to us? We can add more lean or we can continue to slow. Based on our exercise, what is the motorcycle going to do if we continue to slow? The radius will get smaller. The bike will turn tighter. What if the corner is a wide sweeping bend or not nearly as tight as we thought it was going to be? We can go to neutral throttle, sometimes called maintenance throttle, and the radius of the corner will stay the same. But no matter what, we wait until we are pointed out of the corner when we can see our exit and we can take away lean angle before we accelerate. Because what did we learn from our exercise? Acceleration makes the bike stop turning and start to run wide. Ignore any pedantic advice that says you have to be completely off the brakes before tip in, and ignore any advice that says you have to gently accelerate throughout the turn. Keep slowing until you are happy with your speed, wherever in the corner that may be. It might be well before tip in, and it might be 2/3 of the way into the bend. Make decisions based on where your motorcycle is pointed and where you want it to be pointed. Pecco runs the entire lap, every lap, slowly applying the brakes and slowly rolling on the throttle. It's called loading the tires in the chassis. And he does this so he can feel what grip is available for each lap and each corner. Pecco has his eyes tied to his brakes, so he's constantly adding and subtracting small amounts of pressure to control where the bike is pointed based on where he wants the bike to go. Pecco knows He has to stay with the brakes until he has direction in every corner. And we can do the exact same thing. Just don't try to be as fast as Pecco. He's better than us, and that's okay. The key takeaway from our little chat here is that there's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to riding. It all depends on the situation, the rider, the bike, the tires, the speed, the road surface, the temperature, how far we can see. And that's why understanding the why is so crucial. It allows you to adapt and make informed decisions based on context and nuance. Don't ride your motorcycle by rote. Ride your motorcycle by direction. Thanks for hanging out with me on this bitter cold January morning. It is literally -7 degrees Celsius outside. That's less than 20 degrees of freedom units. I mean, I'm not riding in that. But at least we got to talk about the greatest topic in the world, riding motorcycles. So please click like and subscribe and consider becoming a channel member. My goal is to never have to put this content behind a paywall. So supporting us with a little bit of extra cash help keeps this content free for everyone. If you'd like to learn more about my philosophical approach to riding and the struggles we all face, whether or not we admit it, check out this video. I think you need to hear what I have to say about your riding. Thanks for watching. Ride on and ride well.